Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into just one source. It's a narrative called Echoes of the Exponential Age. And our mission really is to unpack how it shows the consequences of, well, unchecked growth, not as numbers, but as a human story. It starts with Alara and her brother Kale. They're living in what the source calls the golden twilight of the 21st century. But you pretty quickly learn this twilight is gray. There's this constant haze. Clean air is a commodity. And the big abstract problem gets very real when Kale gets sick. Atmospheric lung degradation, they call it.
Right. And that's what makes the source so effective, I think. It's not a chart showing system limits, it's a diagnosis. It immediately sets up that core conflict. You have this relentless engine of growth reinforcing loops, in systems terms, slamming into the planet's limits, the balancing loop.
Like collision feels unavoidable in the story.
It is. The narrative frames it as inevitable.
Okay, so let's talk about that engine. Alara's great-grandfather was apparently a system scientist. He saw it coming.
Yeah, decades before.
There's this note he left, dated 2025. It kind of stopped me cold. The engine knows no brakes. It only knows how to consume the track ahead.
That's a perfect description of the main reinforcing loop, the R2 loop the source lays out. Population, industrial capital, just spinning faster and faster, always needing more. And the really tough part is how the community reacts when things start to decay, like with unemployment.
They try to fix it by feeding the engine more, like reopening those old refineries.
Exactly that. They're fighting economic decay by, well, accelerating the environmental decay. It's a vicious cycle.
So reopening the refineries means more jobs, maybe, but also thicker haze.
Thicker haze,
Yeah.
right. Directly impacting Keel's health. They're literally consuming the air he needs because the system only understands growth as the solution. It's frantic.
But the planet doesn't operate like that economic system. It has hard limits. When did those become impossible to ignore in the story?
Well, the source highlights two key balancing loops that really start pushing back hard. They're no longer theoretical risks at this point.
Right. The first one seemed tied directly to health. The river pollution, right? Poisoning the farmland.
Widespread sickness, including Kale's condition getting worse. That's B2, the pollution health limit, a direct industrial to biological consequence.
And the other one?
B3, resource depletion. They start rationing essential materials, rare earth minerals. The dome's life support, all its tech, starts failing because they just can't get the parts.
Can't fix things anymore.
Can't maintain the complex systems they built. It culminates in the failure of the last fusion generator.
That scene was chilling. The silence when the life support just stops. Not a big explosion, just failure because a critical component couldn't be replaced.
Precisely. A lack of a few key minerals depleted from the Earth. That's the moment the R2 exponential growth loop hits the wall, hits B2 and B3.
The end of that age wasn't a bang, but a shortage.
A quiet material failure. But then the story shifts, doesn't it?
It does. Alara, in the ruins, she doesn't give up. She finds her great-grandfather's old schematics.
For closed-loop systems.
Yeah, and builds the small, sealed hydroponic garden. It feels like a totally different direction.
And that's the core lesson, I think. That first harvest, she gets just 6 tomatoes, pale but sweet. It represents a completely different kind of growth.
Circular, not exponential.
Exactly. It's designed for sustenance, for recycling, working within limits. Not about endless expansion, but about long-term survival.
A quiet loop.
A quiet, new reinforcing loop, actually. One based on sharing that knowledge, building community resilience. How to grow those tomatoes, how to survive together.
So the tragedy is immense, all that loss, but there's this whisper of a new way forward. Resilience.
Built from the ground up, literally.
So, wrapping this up, what's the final thought for listeners from this source?
Well, the source really pushes you, I think, to look at the loops we're feeding right now, today. Think about the choices being made, the things we champion in our tech, our economy, our communities. Are we building systems for exponential consumption?
Or are we building for something else?
Or for that circular, sustainable sustenance? The story implies that choice, recognizing which engine we're fueling, well, it's everything. It defines what comes next.